Now it's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's start, Lefties, with the ladies of The View finding new lows. Just when you think this lot have hit rock bottom, they start to dig. Listen to this disgusting slur from race baiter Sunny Hostin against a wife and mother, Brittany Mahomes, the wife of arguably the NFL's best player, Patrick Mahomes. She's now being accused of not caring enough for her interracial family because she liked a Trump post on Instagram.
That this swift effect will speak to more women about the true character of Donald Trump and will turn them away. But to your initial point, I know you said we weren't going to talk about it, but I was. It just seems to me that since she is in an interracial marriage, she should have known that to support a racist is problematic. Her children are biracial.
These people are demented with hate. Now, let's check in with the woman they see as their saviour. Kamala Harris was with Oprah for a loving, the softest of softball interviews you'll ever see, and she still managed to screw it up. I promise to inflict only 1 minute of this calamity on you, and watch this carefully. You can see Oprah dying inside as she listens to his incoherent gobbledygook. It's kind of beautiful, actually.
Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being, because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe from gun violence, freedom to have access to the ballot box, freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride, freedom to just be. And that's who we are. We believe in all that.
Dear me, did you see the moment there when the realisation dawned on Oprah that by giving Kamala this platform, she'd made a terrible mistake, that she was actually helping the Trump camp? Yeah, that was a good moment. Now, that realisation of just how hopeless this candidate is was also evident with the National Association of Black Journalists. You remember the vicious way they treated Donald Trump a few weeks ago when he attended the conference.
You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network.
I still cannot believe he had the crowd on his side at that conference. I did not see that one coming. But compare how that same association questioned Kamala a few days ago.
I'd like to ask you more about the opportunity economy. Housing is part of it, as well as expanding the earned income tax credit, financial support, as you mentioned.
Yes, with Kamala, it was a love-in, not hostile, not combative, not spewing lies and slurs. But the vice president struggled anyway. Just look at the journalists' reaction when she left the stage. They knew. They knew. Now, there was at least one voter who was moved deeply by that Oprah-Kamala interview.
Oprah and Kamala have me crying. It's like the nostalgia of Oprah in the 90s after high school, but like with the hope of today with Kamala, and there's a Swiftie right behind him. I love it so much.
You know, they should have never closed the asylums. They should have opened a few more. And this next pastor, female pastor, could do with time in a padded cell. Listen to her claim that if Jesus were around today, he'd be an abortion doula.
If Jesus were here today, he would be a clinic escort, distracting women from the hatred of the protesters, or an abortion doula, holding women's hands and offering support and love as they end their pregnancies. If Jesus were giving his sermon today, he might also have said, "Blessed are those who end pregnancies, for they will be known for their loving kindness."
I wonder whether this Jesus she imagines supports abortion right up to birth, as is available in a number of states in America. I guess we'll have to find out. Now, as always, there'll be plenty more Lefties content with my next guest. Check out this young man who reminds me a little of Alex Stein. Here he dresses up as Donald Trump and does God's work. That's trolling anti-Israeli activists.
Alex Stein will live forever! When people are occupied, resistance is justified!
There we go.
From the river to the sea.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Up with liberation! Up with liberation!
Joining me now is host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze Media. Alex, welcome back to the program. I'm sure you remember this exchange on CNN last month where a lefty panel berated Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace because she apparently mispronounced Kamala Harris's name, and that made her racist.
And right. Kamala Harris, if
Kamala.
you
said this
will
before,
say
you Nancy
what I want.
It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose, Congresswoman.
That's
disrespectful. You can't expect people to respect your
man
service
put on
if
a
you don't
skirt
respect
and walked
her.
that stage 25 years ago, she
You're
would
a
have
white
said
woman
it. She would have
disrespecting a
taken
black
that
woman. That is
achievement away from
problematic.
women.
That's
That's disgusting.
That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete
No, you don't
BS.
have to intend racism to
No.
accomplish
You are
it.
intending that
Your
I'm
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris.
Incredible stuff. And leading the charge there against Mace was Michael Eric Dyson, Professor of African American Studies at Vanderbilt University. And yet Mace's supposedly racist commentary there did not stop this bloke from sliding into her DMs.
I'd like to also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without objection.
Then the guy says I'm gorgeous in all these photos.
Alex, what is going on? I thought he was outraged about her white supremacy. Next minute, he's in her DMs calling her gorgeous.
Well, he's a scholar, and they took this from a book called Rules for Radicals, written by Saul Alinsky, is where you accuse your opponent of doing what you're actually doing, which is being racist. When they make everything about race or gender, he's the actual racist. And the fact that he slid in Congresswoman Mace's DMs, that's not surprising. She's very attractive, but it shows you he's not very smart, because I think he's got probably a 0% chance with the Congresswoman whatsoever. So he's not only not very smart, he's also delusional, in my opinion.
Yeah, delusional, definitely. Is why he would think she would be receptive to any sort of contact after he called her racist on television. I mean, it was incredible exchange. Now, First Lady Jill Biden, Dr. Jill, was seated at the head of the table at a presidential cabinet meeting. What is going on in your country, Alex? Who exactly is running the show there? What did you make of Dr. Jill's elevation at this cabinet meeting?
To be honest, she probably earned it, for all of her hard work, putting Joe Biden on her back for basically his entire presidency. And, a lot of people think it's a conspiracy that Kamala Harris did some coup to make Joe Biden step down. That's not actually true. Joe Biden, once he got COVID, he stepped down, Rita, because he couldn't smell little children anymore. So he's figured, you know what? I'm just gonna drop out. What? That's the truth. A lot of people don't want to say that, but he's tired. And let the guy rest. And Jill actually deserves a little recognition because she has been working hard, whether or not I like her politics.
You can't help yourself, Alex. There's a line. And you don't want to just be near the line. You want to cross the line habitually. What? And I don't know what I can do about you, but it's a joke. But people will take it out of context and pretend you're being absolutely serious. Now, the president's cognitive decline is not a laughing matter because he is still leader of the free world. And have a look at this embarrassing blunder during the Quad address just yesterday.
I want to thank you all for being here. And now, who am I introducing next? Who's next?
Distinguished guests, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
Oh, dear God. Who's next? I mean, the meeting only had 3 other leaders there. Our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, was there, and you saw the 2 other leaders up on stage with Joe Biden, and he still couldn't remember what was happening, who was coming next, what their names were. It's sad, Alex. There's no other way to describe it. This is not how any country should be run.
You're exactly right. And everybody knows that Joe Biden's not in charge. You can just tell by the effort that he's putting in. And sadly, that's probably the most assertive I've seen Joe Biden in his 4 years as president. And he's just quietly quit, whether he wants to admit it or not. He has quit on his presidency and he's quit on the American people. And I'm really worried because there could be some funny stuff that happens in this next election where we need a coherent president. And I think they're going to make him step down and let Kamala Harris be the president while she is, still campaigning. So it's going to be crazy here in America. There's going to be a big October surprise, and I think it'll be Joe Biden stepping down very soon.
That would be fascinating, and it would be a fairly underhanded tactic, but certainly one that I think will be impactful if they have Kamala running essentially as the incumbent and give her the prestige of the presidency. And again, she'll get another wave of fantastic PR if she is installed as president, even if it's for a few weeks. So it'll be interesting to see if they try to pull that off. Now, Alex, this story from City Field is interesting. They reportedly banned a Trump supporter from entering the stadium to watch a baseball game until she removed her MAGA hat. Now, this fan, Aura Moody, is now suing the stadium for $2 million in damages. She claims this ban was a violation of her right to free speech and has caused her emotional distress. What do you make of this? I'm all for this sort of legal action. If they want to behave like this, let them find out.
Her suing them for $2 million. She has to show damages, so I don't know if she got $2 million worth of emotional distress. But even if she gets free season tickets or a few $1,000s, good for her, because they shouldn't limit what sort of political memorabilia you should be able to wear into a baseball game. So I am happy that she filed this lawsuit, but $2 million, I think that's highly unrealistic if you ask me, but I'm not an attorney.
You don't know how much emotional damage she sustained, so let's not predetermine that. I mean, it could have been very deep indeed, and they wouldn't do that if you turned up with, say, a LGBTQ lanyard or some rainbow cap. They wouldn't tell you not to enter or get rid of it. So political symbols have been at these sporting games for a long time, so you can't be selective about it. This is a fantastic story. I was hoping to get your insights on this because one of these COVID fanatics, one of these COVID-era dictators has been exposed as a massive hypocrite. This is a hidden camera footage posted by podcaster Stephen Crowder last Thursday, and since then the story is being covered by mainstream media, including the New York Times, showing Varma, COVID czar J.K. Varma, boasting about breaking the very rules he was insisting all New Yorkers had to follow. He even attended a string of secret drug-fueled sex parties, Alex, whilst telling people they couldn't work or kids couldn't go to school and a bunch of other restrictions.
Well, rules for thee, but not for me. And it's not any different than what Gavin Newsom did when he went to French Laundry at the height of the pandemic in California when everybody else was shut down. And, also Gavin Newsom, his restaurant, because it was in a place that was, not densely populated, was basically able to stay open during the whole entire pandemic when he shut down every single other business. So this happened in New York City with this guy. It happened with Gavin Newsom in California, and it happened everywhere in between. So it's just sad that people that were in power manipulated this and didn't follow the same rules that all the other people got punished, lost their job, maybe kicked out of the military for not following these unnecessary rules, if you ask me.
Absolutely. But, I don't think Gavin had a orgy at the French Laundry. This guy was up to all sorts of things that...
Maybe, Rita, you don't know that. Gavin is why look into Gavin's history. He has quite a prolific love life as well.
Yes, let's not go into any detail there. Now, before you go, you've got a career highlight coming up. You'll be on stage with the great Roseanne Barr and Tucker Carlson, who you once claimed was your biological father.
So right now, Tucker, we're going to find out once and for all if you are my father or not. So this is huge. How do I read this? I'm not a doctor, Dr. Goldberg.
So you just take out the paper and read the words that are on it.
It says, Tucker, you are not the father. This has to be wrong. This has to be wrong. He is my father.
So I know you wanted a different result, but we tested it many times.
Dr. Goldberg, he has to be my dad. This is
not,
his
I
dad.
can't,
Get out of here, Dr. Goldberg. Dr. Goldberg. Tucker, you're my dad. I love you so much. I'm still going to lie. Even though you're not my biological father, I'm still taking credit for it.
I can't believe he doesn't have a restraining order against you. He's actually got you as his opening act for his Fort Worth show. He's been getting huge crowds across the US. It must be a thrill to open for him in your home state, Alex.
It's an absolute honor. I joke that he's my biological stepfather, but Roseanne is my adopted mother. It's such an honor to call both of them friends. And we're at over 13,000 tickets sold, I believe, for the show this Tuesday, the 24th. So it's a dream come true. I want to tell a couple of those Biden jokes. I hope they don't react the same way you did, Rita, or else I'm going to be in trouble. But no, on a serious note, it's going to be a great show. And it's just an honor and privilege. And this is the biggest moment of my career. It can really change the course of it as long as I, perform like I expect to perform. So thank you for letting me plug it, Rita. You've always been so gracious, just like Tucker. You are the Tucker Carlson of Australia. And that's not a gender thing. You are the female version as well. Thank you so much, Rita, as always.
Thank you. I'll be your biological stepmother for you if you'd like. You've got lots of roles to fulfill there. Alex Stein, thank you so much for your time this evening.